The next case on the agenda is 13033 Holdings Group. The first case out of three is going to be MHVIO 2018-01277. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Anybody representing Cher and Addison, 1130 Northwest 130th? 3 violations. Anybody here? Anybody home? City, you want to present?
Yes. Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. As of this morning, they still haven't obtained the required permit that they needed.
Well, the first case has to do with an iron fence.
No, it's the first for sealing and restriping of parking lot that was done without a
I'm sorry,
permit.
I got the wrong. 130.
13033 Holdings
Okay,
Group
I was
is
looking
the
at
name.
a different case.
Okay.
Hang on one second. 13033. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So the first one is permit.
Yes,
Permits for sealing and restriping of the parking lot.
that's correct.
Okay.
They haven't obtained none as yet.
No compliance,
No.
and there is a prior adjudication,
Yes.
$250. Okay, so as to case number 2018-01277, based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the photographs and other evidence presented reflecting that the property has been out of compliance since July 10th. I find in favor of the city and hereby ratify the fines accrued to date in the amount of $250 and assess cost in favor of the city, authorize the filing of a lien, and the fines shall continue to run on a daily basis until there is compliance. Next case.
Next case is MHVIO 2018-01278 for the same property.
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. As of this morning, there's no permits on file.
What's the difference between the last one we heard and this one?
There's two separate. There's two separate property, but they're next to each other.
Okay.
Same owner.
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the evidence presented, and having reviewed the file, the property has been out of compliance since July 10th. I find in favor of the city, ratify the fines accrued to date in the amount of $250, assess cost in favor of the city, authorize the filing of a lien, and the fines shall continue to run on a daily basis until there is compliance. Next case.
Same property, case number MHVIO 2019-00126. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. This case is a new case, and for this one, they actually was repaving the parking lot without obtaining a required permit.
They were already doing the work
Without a permit.
without a permit.
Correct.
But the citation is to get a permit.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Not being previously adjudicated, based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the evidence presented depicting that the violation still exists, proper notice has been given. I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication, and set an abatement date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated.
Thank you.
The next case is 14050 Northeast 6th Ave Prestige. Case number MHVIO 2019-00217. John Norville is the officer.
Mr. Norville, step right up. Anybody here from representing the owner, 14050 Northeast 6th Avenue. Nobody here on behalf of the owner? Okay.
Good
Mr.
afternoon,
Norville?
John Norville with the City of North Miami. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you.
This is in reference to, once again, 14050 Northeast 6th Avenue. This is a case about a dumpster enclosure that has been damaged. It was cited on 4/24 of 2019. There was proper service given. I was in contact, actually, but I'm sorry. Once again, let me just double check this as dumpster enclosure. Yes. The pictures.
Can you put this the photo on the
Absolutely. Let me just
on the screen
bring it up.
so everybody can see the dumpster?
Yes, sir.
It's not a pretty sight.
What item number is that on the agenda?
There is no item numbers, just, it goes by the name,
It-
14050 Northeast 6th Ave.
It's number
23.
4 in my
Oh, I
list.
don't have that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm sorry? 23?
I got it. Thank you. Yep. Sorry about it. I actually moved it myself. Fat fingered it. Sorry.
There you go.
Here's our pit photo. Well, we can adjust that photo, but basically, the dumpster doors are to the side of the dumpster. It's right there, non-covered, and obviously, it's a violation of the city code.
What's the fine associated with the violation?
There's no fine associated in terms of I didn't write a ticket. I just cited them to have it repaired.
Okay.
Obviously, this property owner owns several properties in the city. We're just looking for them to make the actual repair of this dumpster. However, this is the first time I believe this is coming up with the magistrate.
Yes.
And the issues, we'd like them to have it repaired. So ultimately, the fines are just pressure to provide to have the property owner make the proper repairs.
Have
My
you
re-
made contact with the owner?
I have attempted to, but at this point, I have not heard from anyone at the property management company. But like I
Okay.
said, this property management company has several properties in the city, and
So
I'm
we
sure-
need to get their attention.
Yes, we need just proper motivation to have this particular issue addressed.
Okay. And it's still sitting there the way it's been depicted in the photograph.
That is
Last
correct.
time you were there.
This is photos as of 7/10,
Okay.
2019.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the photograph and evidence presented depicting that the violation still exists, proper notice having been given, I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated.
Thank you.
Next case.
The next case is 14190 West Dixie Highway, case number CENUS 2019-00364. Vanessa Willis is the officer.
Anybody here from 14190 West Dixie Highway, LLC?
Good afternoon, Vanessa Willis, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This particular case was written April 10th, 2019, on apartment number 2 to have a licensed company inspect the unit for mold and remediate the mold inside the unit, and to also provide a mold report. To date, they did, let me just get over here, give me 1 second. Permit action report.
I don't see any pictures.
Yeah, the mold, you couldn't see it, but you can certainly smell it when you would go inside the unit. The mold was inside the walls. She was found guilty on June 6th, at the June 6th hearing, must abate by July 10th, 2019. What she did, she sent me a mold report that they looked for the mold, that they definitely found mold in the unit. I told her, I said, what they also need to do is tell me what they did to remediate the mold. She never sent the report. The tenant inside is in a wheelchair. So he was stating that all they did was come with a bottle with clear liquid and spray the walls, and he can still smell the mold inside the unit.
Let me understand the players here. We have an owner of a unit, and then we have a tenant resident living inside a unit with mold inside the unit, and this
Correct.
lady is in a wheelchair.
It's a man,
It's a
and
man.
he is in a wheelchair, and the property manager, because it's an apartment building, and the apartment manager talked to me this morning. She said, "Oh, unfortunately, the owner of the buildings that she manages is coming in from out of town, and there's a mandatory meeting in her office, so she could not be here." And I'm like, "Well, did you let him know that you have a case here before the courts?" I did explain to her that she needed to provide an additional report from the company that did the mold inspection initially. And she said that she sent out an email to him stating that she needed this report. We need to know what was done, and if there is still mold, is he still finding mold inside the unit? And she still hasn't given me that report. So to date, they are not in compliance.
Okay, to me, this is a life safety issue.
Yes, it is.
So I am going to give the following ruling. Based on the testimony of the city's code compliance officer and the evidence presented, finding that the property has been out of compliance since July 10th, and considering that mold is a life safety issue for the tenant within the unit, I find in favor of the city and hereby ratify the fines accrued to date in the amount of $300. And as of today's date, I am going to increase the fine to if I may, with the advice of the city attorney, increase the fine to $500 a day.
Yes, Your Honor, as long as you ratify in the lower amount up until today, and then today institute the higher amount.
I will, and I'm doing that based on my knowledge and understanding of what mold can do to an individual, especially one who is of advanced age and with a compromised immune system particularly. I will set that fine at that amount, assess cost, authorize the filing of a lien. The fine shall continue to run on a daily basis until there is compliance.
Thank you.
The next case is 3AS Development, case number RCCOR 2018-00028. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Anybody representing 3AS Development LLC, the owner of 6380 Southwest 37th Street? Nobody? All right. City?
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. The property was cited for failure to obtain an approved reoccupancy from the city on October 3rd, 2018. As of today, there is no approved reoccupancy certificate in file.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer and the evidence presented depicting that the cited violation still exists and that proper notice has been given, I find in favor of the city enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated. Next case.
Thank you.
The next case is Alberto Prieto, case number CEEXP 2019-00016. Vanessa Willis is the officer.
Anybody here representing the property owner? Alberto Prieto, 1365 Northeast 130th. No appearance. Ms. Willis,
Good afternoon again.
please present.
Vanessa Willis, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This particular case was opened January 29, 2019 to pressure clean and paint the house. And to date, they are not in compliance.
Abatement date of July 10th.
Yes. I'm trying to pull up a picture for you.
I
And
don't
here,
have
it's a
picture.
white house, so it's hard to kind of see the faded out colors, but the door is cracked and peeling. You have dark spots throughout the property.
Okay. All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the photograph and other evidence presented that the property has been out of compliance since July 10th, 2019, I hereby find in favor of the city, ratify the fines accrued to date in the amount of $250, assess costs in favor of the city, authorize filing of a lien, and the fines shall continue to run on a daily basis until there is compliance.
And Special Magistrate, let me just add too, since we didn't talk about it, but posting. It was posted June 25th, 2019 at 1:07 p.m. And the photo and affidavit of service is in the file.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next
The
case?
next case is for Alejandro de la Cruz, MHVI O 2018-01230. Gary Beswick is the officer.
There are two cases, right?
Correct.
Anybody here representing Alejandro de la Cruz, 13512 Northeast 24th Place? First case is 2018-01230. City?
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. The property was first cited on September 25th, 2018 to obtain all required permits for interior and exterior alteration, renovation in progress without permit. As of today, they still haven't obtained the required permits.
Is that all? Anything else?
No.
All right. Accordingly, based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer and the evidence presented depicting that the cited violation still exists and that proper notice has been given, I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated.
The next
Same
case-
property,
Yes.
2018-00025.
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. This one is failure to obtain an approved occupancy certificate prior to title transfer, and the notification went out on 25th of September 2018. As of today, there is no approved occupancy certificate has been obtained.
Okay, based on the undisputed, unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer and the evidence presented depicting that the cited violation still exists and the proper notice has been given, I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there shall be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated.
Thank you.
Bobby Dumas, CEWWC 2019-00045. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer.
Anybody here representing the owner?
Yeah, I'm the owner.
Please state your appearances.
Bobby Dumas, 915 Northeast 136th Street.
And Jerome Latorre, counsel for Mr. Dumas.
Okay, tell me your name again, sir.
Latorre, last name, first name Jerome.
Okay. All right. City?
Good afternoon, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This property was originally cited on March 30th, 2019, in reference to the tarp that was on the property. It was torn and hanging off the roof. The property owner was cited and advised to obtain a permit to repair the roof.
Do you have a photograph you want to show me?
This is the remaining piece of the tarp on the front of the roof. If you give me 1 second, I'll pull up the one where it's hanging off the side.
One second. Has there been a prior adjudication?
No, this is the first time the case is being presented.
Okay. All right, who's going to speak?
I'll speak, Your
Counsel?
Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Dumas has removed the blue tarp, and he has made repairs to the roof. I have a photo showing the current state of the home.
Want to show it to the officer?
Sure. This was done, Your Honor, within the last several weeks.
It was like black.
No, that's gone. I took that down.
You took that
Yes,
down?
that's gone.
Okay.
Because it was still, so.
When we get to it, you can postpone.
That was underneath the blue.
All right, so you showed her photographs of the roof
Yes, yes.
on the repairs, or
Yes, of the home with the tarp off and the repairs that were made.
okay, city? You have any position on that?
I would like to go out to the property to re-inspect and take the proper pictures. And if in fact it has complied, I'll go ahead and close out the violation.
Okay, so this is we're just talking about the roof,
That's
right?
correct.
And the tarp, and the picture apparently shows that the tarp is no longer there, correct?
Correct, but there's no timestamp on the picture, so that's
Okay.
why.
All right,
gonna
so
go to the
we're going to table it for 30 days,
Okay, Your Honor.
okay? And then if it's been corrected, if it's in compliance, then the ticket will be dismissed, or the violation will be dismissed.
Thank you, Your
If
Honor.
it's not corrected, then it'll come back,
Okay.
okay? Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
The next case is Camille Farsh, case number CEWWC 2019-00050. Edme St. Louis is the officer.
Anybody here representing the owner? Is the city ready to proceed? Ms. St. Louis?
Good morning, Court Officer good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Court Officer St. Louis, this case, as of the final recheck, was in compliance.
In compliance, so you are asking me to dismiss it?
Yes.
All right, case dismissed.
The next case is Cher Sanders, MHVIO 2018-01273. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Anybody here on behalf of the owner? Cher Sanders, 671 Northeast 139th Street. This was tabled to
The case is
today's-
comply.
Has complied? There's compliance? Case dismissed. Next case.
Christopher Sander, case number CESTA 2018-00010. Vanessa Willis is the officer.
Your Honor, the city attorney has requested a postponement of this case and a table to the next agenda.
So ordered.
Thank you.
The next case is D Investments LLC, MHVIO 2019-00037. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Anybody on behalf of the owner? D Investments LLC, 13115 Northwest 11th Avenue. Mr. Beswick? Failure to obtain permits.
Good afternoon, Gary Bezick for the City of North Miami. As of today, there is no permits on file. Let me show. The property was first cited back on February 6, 2019, to fail to obtain the required permits for windows, doors, and chain link fence. As of today, there is no permit has been obtained. And share the pictures. And there's pictures of the violation. So there's no permits.
When you cite someone for that work without a permit, do you also contemporaneously issue a stop work order?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no ongoing work right now.
If you look at the picture, there's a stop work order on the picture as well.
Okay, got it.
And they continue. Actually, he went and finished the job.
Okay.
So we seek an adjudication.
And finish the job without getting a permit?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the photographs and evidence presented, depicting that the cited violations still exist and that proper notice has been given, I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there will be a daily fine of $500 until the violation is abated.
The next case is David Mumbi, case number MHVIO 2018-01294. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Good afternoon, Gary Bezick for the City of North Miami. This property was cited for failure to obtain a required permit for enclosing of a carport to a living space. And this was a complaint I received from Officer Karen Jean Lewis. And as of today, there's still no permits on file for the violation.
Do you have a picture of the carport?
No, I don't have it on this. No, there's no pictures on the file, in this file, no.
Okay. There's a prior adjudication, correct?
Yes.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the photograph, no photographs, but other evidence presented that the property is out of compliance since July 10th,
Yes.
I find in favor of the city and hereby ratify the fines accrued to date in the amount of $250 per day, assessed costs. In favor of the city, authorize the filing of a lien. The said fines shall continue to run on a daily basis until there is compliance.
Thank you.
Deutsche Bank National Trust, CEPOM 2018-00023. Vanessa Willis is the officer.
Anybody here from Deutsche Bank? That's unusual. Property 1977 Northeast 119th Road, unmaintained pool. Ms. Willis?
Yes, Special Magistrate Vanessa Willis, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This property, of course, was for the pool, and we have the affidavit of posting. Give me 1 second. Was posted June 26, 2019 at 10:52 a.m.
This is a single-family home?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I don't have a picture of the pool. Usually the neighbor next door allows me access onto her property so that I can get a good shot. I asked my coworkers who inspect the waterways to see if they can get a good shot. They couldn't get one either, but as far as the most recent or the last inspection prior to this one, they were not in compliance.
Anybody living on the premises?
Yes, unfortunately, from what we were told, one of the last magistrate hearings, they're fighting with the foreclosure process. The people that live inside the home are fighting the foreclosure process, so they have been unable to get them off of the property. But I explained to them that they should still be maintaining it in the interim, but they have not been. This property has, I believe it has an unsafe structure violation on it. It has a painting violation on it. It has several things going on. It's just neglect.
So the ownership is in the name of the bank, or is it still in the name of the tenant?
Yes, it's in the name of the bank.
Okay. And as I recall, and I may have seen this on video, the bank is trying to evict the tenant,
Correct,
and the tenant is resisting.
correct.
Okay, I get it. This was previously tabled back in, was it April of
let's see.
2019? It was tabled to July 17th.
Yes,
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer, evidence presented depicting that the cited violation still exists, proper notice having been given, I find in favor of the city. Enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In
You-
the
Special Magistrate, in January, January 23rd, 2019, they were found guilty by the magistrate,
oh,
and they needed to abate by February 13,
I'm not
2019.
showing that. I'm not showing that. We're talking about the same property, 1977 Northeast 119th Road?
Yes. And it's on mine, I don't know.
The-
Can you pull the permit action report and onto the
there.
screen?
Oh,
It's
I
They
found
just
it.
need to-
I
It's,
found
it's up, but.
Yeah, it's,
access.
it was on January. January 23, they were found guilty,
Yes,
and fine set at $250. Must abate by February 13, 2019. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay.
correct.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer and the evidence presented that the property has been out of compliance since February 13th, 2019, I find in favor of the city, ratify the fines accrued to date, and assess cost, authorize the filing of a lien against the property. The fines accruing at the rate of $250 a day shall run until there is compliance.
Okay, thank you.
The next case is Enrique Barrios, case number RCCOR 2018-00010. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Anybody representing the property owner at 2500 Northeast 135th Street, Enrique Barrios? Okay, Mr. Beswick, proceed.
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the city of North Miami. The property was cited back April 26, 2018 for failure to obtain an approved reoccupancy certificate. As of today, there is no approved reoccupancy certificate on file. So we're seeking adjudication.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. No prior adjudication on that one.
No.
Okay, based on the unrebutted testimony of the city's code compliance officer and the evidence presented depicting that the cited violation still exists, proper notice having been given, I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of non-compliance, there shall be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated.
Thank you.
The next case is Enterprise 305, case number CEFAW 2018-00255. The officer is Vanessa Willis.
Anybody from Enterprise 305 LLC? No appearance on behalf of the owner. Ms. Willis, are you prepared?
Vanessa Willis, City of North Miami, co-compliance. Okay, the gentleman was here for this particular case. He asked that we table it. He couldn't wait. He had a doctor's appointment, and the owner of the property itself was delayed by his plane flight in Boston. If magistrate would desire to go ahead and continue with the case, that's fine.
All right, we'll move it until the next
Thank you.
magistrate sits.
Thank you.
What's the next?
It's for the same
Same.
owner, case number CEEXP 2018-00192. Will we table that one as well?
Which property is that?
The same property, 11424 North Bayshore Drive.
Yes.
Okay.
Both will be tabled.
The next case is Eric Vasquez, MHVIO 2018-01331. Gary Beswick is the officer.
Anybody representing the owner? Eric Vasquez.
Good afternoon.
Your name, sir?
Eric Vasquez.
Okay. You're the owner of 1235 Northwest 124th Street?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me hear from the city.
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami. This violation is for obtaining required permit for concrete installation of encroaching into the setback without a permit. They apply for permits for pour concrete. Then afterwards, they went and expand the concrete into the setback, which is not allowed. And I'm showing you pictures of what I'm referring to. If you notice the concrete against the fence, the concrete not supposed to go up to the fence. That is called a setback. Basically, you can't have the concrete going up to the property line.
Is that the side setback or the front setback?
The front and the side. This house is like on the north of the street, and the encroaching on the east and the west of the setback.
Okay, so there's encroachment on the right-of-way, and there's an encroachment on the abutting property owner.
That's correct.
Okay, and that has been determined by someone going out there and doing a survey?
No, it's determined by the complaint came from our building inspector by the name of Joel. I got a complaint from him. But basically, to apply for a permit to pour concrete, you're only allowed to go to a certain distance. You can't go up to the property lines.
Okay, so when he applied for a permit, he was authorized to lay the concrete,
But not into
but not encroach into the right-of-way, and the survey that he presented was compliant with the setback
the setback,
requirements.
correct. Then it went after. It's
But he
afterwards.
went beyond what the survey showed to be his property, and into
The
he went
setback.
beyond the.
The key is the setback,
Okay,
encroaching the
gotcha,
setback. They go into
gotcha.
the setback.
Sir, you understand that you're encroaching on the setback.
Yes, sir. I understand the reason I haven't been able to do anything because I've been hospitalized, and I've been in the hospital for the last almost 3.5 weeks. I was just released on the 13th, I believe, and if you give me some time, I do what I can do. If I have to remove the concrete, I will remove it. I don't have any problem with that.
Well, you don't have to remove the whole concrete, you just have to remove whatever piece of the concrete is encroaching.
Exactly. Whatever, like I said, whatever I have to do, I need, I would do it. But like I said, at this point, I got my paperwork from the hospital.
I don't need to see
I know, but I just want to show you proof that the reason that I haven't been able to get anything accomplished. As soon as I get better, which they give me 2 more weeks to stay home and relax.
Are you gonna do it yourself, or are you gonna have a contractor do it?
I'm probably gonna have a contract. At this point, until I don't feel better, I don't wanna.
How much time should we give in, Mr. Officer?
Within 60 days.
All right, so I'm going to give you 60 days to remove the encroachment. Hope you feel better.
That's fine.
But I think you went a little bit beyond what the survey allowed you to do.
I didn't. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't know this stuff. So like I said, I'm gonna remove it or take care of whatever I need to do.
Okay, are you encroaching into your neighbors?
No, sir. I'm going. I went to the property line, which is it's thousands of houses, properties like that, in the neighborhood. Next time I come over, I can bring you some picture of the neighbors.
I'd like you to do everything possible to get it done within 60 days. Okay, you'll be fine by then.
I will take care of them.
Okay,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you. Hope you feel better.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna die from this one over here. I know that. Thanks. Appreciate it.
The next case is Fritz Charles, case number CEEXP 2019-00056. The officer is Wayne Clark.
Anybody here, Mr. Charles?
That's my mom.
Okay, state your full name.
Jeffrey Harrod. I'm a tenant in the house.
You're a tenant?
Yeah, I live there by myself.
Okay, and who's the owner?
My mom. She lives
Okay.
in New York.
Okay, Mr. Clark, you want to present?
Wayne Clark, City of North Miami Code Compliance. This case has already been adjudicated. He was supposed to have it taken care of, paint the house by July 10th, the final reinspection date. It's not painted. He did try to make an attempt, and he put primer on the house, but it's not complete.
Do you have a picture?
Yes, I do. Give me a sec. You want to see both?
Yes. Well, let's deal with the first violation.
Okay. The original photos depict the house condition prior. You can see that's the front. That's the front wall of the home.
Okay.
And then let me see. Let me scroll down.
What's the date on that?
The date on it is May 14th.
Okay.
All these taken the same day. And I guess that's the colors of what he was going to go with originally.
They're too dark.
Okay, well, you said you had went to the city and they
Yeah.
approved. What colors did they approve?
She told me, I took a picture, she said it gotta be a light color. So
Okay.
I just went with white.
So let me scroll down, sir. So this is the side of the house. The roof area basically looks the same. Okay. So now I'm gonna go out of this and show you the current photos, which I believe is just primer because it's bleeding through or whatever, and I don't believe that that's the original color. I don't believe that's the color he's gonna paint it, but he claims that, that it's finished, and I told him I beg to differ on that on these photos. So you got a white, look like a white prime. Can you see that? Yeah, you got a white prime on there. And you see the areas above up under the roof. Soffit, you can see that it's still not completed. And actually this photo right here if I can make a footnote, he has a companion case. I'm gonna use this same photo to show
Okay.
the wall because he's supposed to paint the wall and the house.
All right, so the city's position is that while he's done some work,
It's not
still
satisfied.
not in compliance,
No,
and why not?
because it's not complete.
Okay,
And that's a primer, that's not a color.
okay,
I mean, he could paint it white, but I could tell that's a primer because just like he even said himself, as you can see on the photos, I don't know how clear it's showing there, but what I'm looking at, you can see that it's like bleeding through. So it's not a solid color. It's just a base.
okay. So
So
sir,
that's not gonna work.
You understand that
No,
even though
we-
you've made an effort,
we-
this is not acceptable to the city.
We spoke this morning when he came to my house, and he pointed everything out to me. And
Right.
prior to the 10th, I called him, and he told me I had to come to court because I requested more time because there's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be.
To paint it?
To paint it because most of the paint started stripping down, and some of the roof, where you talk about on the top of the roof, the wood is rotting out.
Right
So
here.
I need a professional to help me to remove
On this picture.
the wood out so we can get it changed out to get painted.
Is the city okay with giving him another 30 days?
Actually, I'm
I
going to
don't-
need a little bit more time because I'm going out of town. I won't be here.
What is the city's recommendation?
30 days, and we see where we're having the improvement from there. But we need some improvement besides this primer being on the wall, because it made, you know what I'm saying, it don't make sense to sit another. Actually, we went from May 14th to July, and it's 2 months done past, and this is as far as we gotten with the primer.
Right.
You know, so, but it has been adjudicated already. So I don't see if it's already been adjudicated how you can give more time. So it's up to you if you
Okay.
wanna.
What is the, you say you're gonna be out of town, can we get a painter to,
I don't have the money for a painter. That's why I did most of the work myself. I didn't realize it was going to be that much work because once you start pressure washing is when you see the real work. So I started pressure washing, and most of the paint started coming off, and in certain areas it didn't come off. He spoke to me this morning about the roof line that it has to be painted too, and I told him that part, the wood is rotted because I attempted to clean it off and it started breaking away, so I left it alone because it just made a hole for bugs. So I'm trying to find somebody to fix that part, and I can finish the rest myself. If he doesn't like the white, I mean, I could work with something, but that's not my call on the color. I have to go by what my mom said.
The problem that I have in giving you more time is that the prior magistrate already gave you as much time as the city was prepared to give you.
The first time I came in, I didn't know about it, and then we came on court on the 6th, and that's when he explained well, he was not here. The next lady,
somebody else represented me.
somebody
another
else
officer,
explained to
'cause I
me
couldn't be here.
about the things that need to be done, but they didn't talk about the whole roof line. They talked about the wall. Well, he's gonna bring that up on the next case. The wall and the paint on the house. He came by today and explained to me the other parts what needs to be fixed too, and he says you gotta come to court and get more time to get it fixed because he's not happy with it.
Well, the violations, correct me if I'm wrong, officer, the violations deal with exterior walls, not the overhang of the roof or the,
Well, you would commonly think if you're gonna paint the exterior of the property,
obviously.
you know, you're not gonna leave
But
that all rotted and everything. I
Right,
mean,
of
that
course.
defeat the purpose, you know.
But if he starts correcting by starting to paint next week,
Well, he already started with the primer, but
Okay.
I mean, even if it was a white paint,
right?
if he considered that paint, it's still not sufficient because it's bleeding through. He would actually have to put a whole nother coat on it to make it look decent.
I understand that.
So that is not complete, by no means. You know, you could see straight through it, the back to the original surface. So it's your call, but
All right,
we also have a companion case with the wall condition, the same issue. So we'll the same thing.
The wall is not. You didn't like the wall?
No, because you could see the block pattern through the wall. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a seal I put on there to take care of block lines, and that's it's coming through. It's a silicone, and that was the worst mistake I could make.
So do you want to call that case now, or do you have to
Well,
call that
I
case
can
in
show you
record?
how it looked and all the steps I took.
let's look at the next case also, and then
All right.
I'll adjudicate each one. But let me get a bigger picture of what's going on with the house.
Okay, here we go. This is, I'm showing you a picture of the original wall, okay? See, that's the front, a close shot, and this is the whole wall itself. So the wall also needs painting, you know, because it all faded at the same time, you know. If the wall had been painted and the house needed painting, it would just be the house itself. Let me see what else I got here. Okay, that's a, hold on. Let me back up a little bit. I'm going a little fast. That's a general shot of the front of the house. And both of them was guilty of needing painting.
That's before? That's the before picture?
Yeah, that's the before.
Okay.
Now, give me a second. Like I said, I'm going to use this photo from the prior. See, that's now. But I don't know how good do you see how it's faded from that monitor or the monitor you have here? You see
I
how
can
it's
tell.
Not, you know, solid. So to me, you know, with my experience, but I painted a few houses in my time, that's primer. Hands down, that's primer. And so we need another coat on both of them. And then maybe a second coat will hide that. As you can see, I don't know if you can see the blocks bleeding through the lines or whatever.
but that right
Before you saw it with the original color, you
Yes.
couldn't see that. So
Yeah.
That
It's not
but
sufficient.
those lines you see is a. I watched a YouTube video. They said put some silicone to take care of the lines, but then that silicone keeps bleeding through.
Well, you got to find the right paint. You know,
yeah,
it's
it's like
just not-
that's not. I don't know what
I understand
what
that part.
paint it is, but it needs to be
we
thicker.
spoke to him on the 7th, and he like, you got to come to court to get more time, and like, and I told him,
No, I told you you had to go to court and actually talk to show
Judge.
up and talk to the judge.
to get more time.
No,
So
it's
and
already
I was
adjudicated.
like, between the
I said
rain,
it's up to him.
Right. Look, I want the house to be properly painted in a way that it's acceptable to the city and the city's standards. What you've done is the first step. Now you need to go to the next step. My question to you is, if I gave you 30 days to finish painting and fixing the property, and you say your parents live there, so
No,
you want,
nobody. I live there.
Nobody lives there?
Everything's on me.
Okay. If I give you 30 days, will you do everything you're supposed to do, or do
Yeah,
you?
I can. All the painting I can do, but this morning he came over and he was talking about the top of the wood on the roof. You're saying that's not part of the wall.
Well,
but he's saying that is.
Let's start with painting the house.
I got that part.
Okay. You do a good job of painting the house, and if you need another 30 days to do the roof, then we'll talk about the roof later
All
on.
right, because this is what our conversation was about the roof. Because I'm like, you need a permit and everything else. Because once they start taking stuff apart, that's on the roof. That's not.
Well, it all depends on how much you're taking apart. If you're changing like one fascia board
I don't know about
on
it. I
that
don't know how
side or
that
whatever,
works.
that's the first I heard. From what I'm looking at, I mean, you might be seeing something different. It just looks like you just need to just paint over it. It's not like it's falling down or it's hanging from the.
No, once
you
I hit
know,
it with the
the
pressure
structure
washer,
itself.
I hit the wood with the pressure washer. It started falling apart.
Oh, you must
That's
be
why I
put
left
too much
alone.
pressure
All right,
on it.
Madam City Attorney, I have a question for you. Am I authorized to adjudicate or stay any fines from accruing and giving him 30 days within which to comply, at which time, 30 days thereafter, fines
Still stay.
will be reinstated or start accruing?
Okay, so, so the matter before us today is ratification of the fine. You can postpone the running of the fines until a later date. So if your magistrate is so inclined, you can choose to start the fines 30 days from now if there is no compliance. And that would be
All right,
dependent on the officer going
That
out.
would be my ruling.
Okay.
My ruling is that if you do not comply within 30 days, then, and I'm talking about the paint. If you need a new roof, we'll come back to that later.
All right, cool.
You know, if the building is, if the property is painted, if the house is painted in accordance with the city's rules and regulations, subject to the approval of the code officer, if you do everything you're supposed to do with regard to the paint, you will accrue no fines if you do that within 30 days.
Okay.
After 30 days, if you have not painted it properly, not only will you start accruing fines at that point, but you will retroactively be subject to whatever fines have been assessed before this hearing.
All right.
Is that acceptable, Madam City Attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And we're
All
just
right.
focusing on the walls, right?
Yeah, but that little, he only have one ease, one side to, paint where the brown area, the wood area is.
That one side, I can handle that one side, but I'm talking about the front.
The front, I only see a gutter going across the front, so it's not really.
Yeah, but on the other side of the roof,
We'll work it out.
on the other one, yeah, right there, on that side.
Oh, on
Yeah.
the east side of the
Yeah,
property.
on that east side.
Okay, well, do as much as you can.
All right.
Paint
Yeah.
as much as you can.
If you do 90% of the work,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
All right, cool.
Okay? I hope you do 100,
Right.
but we want you to start taking care of the problem as quickly as possible.
All right, no problem.
And if the code officer finds that you're dragging your feet, he's going to bring the case back to me at the next meeting, and then we're going to start assessing some heavy fines.
No problem.
Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right.
Your Honor,
Okay.
we need to record the ruling on the second case for the wall
Okay.
for CEFAW 2019-00061.
All right. Same ruling as to the wall?
And what
uh,
ruling was that?
I'm sorry?
You have to say the ruling.
All right, so the ruling is that provided that the property owner complies with the code and paints the wall according to the city's regulations, to the satisfaction of the code officer, within 30 days, no fines will accrue. However, if the property owner does not comply, then the fines will apply, go back retroactively to the abatement date, and go forward at the same amount. Is that okay?
The next case on the agenda is
Thank you.
Franti Jean, CESTR 2019-00007. Edme St. Louis is the officer.
Anybody here for 1720 Northeast 139th Street?
Yes.
Please state your full name and address for the record.
Yes, Lydia Mara.
Lydia Mora?
Yes, Mara, M-A-R-A, Best Invest Florida Realty. I'm the property manager representing Jean Fronti.
Fronti?
Yes,
Okay. Property manager.
yes.
You're authorized to speak on behalf of the property owner?
Yeah, I do have the property management agreement.
Okay. Let me hear from the city.
Good afternoon, Code Officer St. Louis. This violation is being presented as a repeat violator because they've been conducting short-term rental at the property. They were previously cited for the same violation back in June 5th. And a couple days later, they back to doing the same thing.
I don't have anything showing a prior violation.
I have the copy of the permit action in hand from the prior violation, but this one is the new violation that's coming back as the repeat violation.
Okay. Is it on the agenda?
Yes, it is. It's 43.
Can you put it on the screen?
Is the prior permit action report accessible via the laptop, or is it only a hard copy?
Hard copy.
Can you submit that up?
Yeah, can I see that?
And as additional evidence, I have printed out the emails that I've been having with Miss Lydia, and also the copy of the contract she showed me. But as far as the times that I've made contact with the renters, they stated that they were just there staying for a couple of days.
All right, I'm still on the prior violation. There is a board decision, June 5, irreversible order of $15,000 order imposed. Was a $15,000 fine imposed?
Correct.
All right, tell me about this violation.
This current violation came in as a complaint from the neighbors. And when I knocked on the door on June 12th, knocked on the door, a family who was down in Miami for vacation stated that they were here from June 7th to June 17th, and that they didn't want to disclose anything as far as to show me proof that they were renting because they stated that they didn't want to lose their deposit, and that Mr. Fronti was not on the property as listed as the property owner.
Say that again?
Mr. Fronti, he's the property owner. When I asked for the property owner, they stated that they're here just renting, short-term rental from June 7th.
Who were they renting from?
They didn't disclose any of that. They're just renters.
Okay, ma'am, your turn.
Yes. Okay, so I'm the property manager representing Jean Fronti. He's in France. He hired me for that, right? So I secured a tenant in January the 24th, 2019 for a yearly base lease, which expires January the 23rd, 2020. Other than that, I'm not aware of anything else.
You have a copy of the lease?
Yes, I do.
You
And
bring
as
it
a matter of
forward?
fact, yeah, sorry, I just submit this to the person in charge. Let me see the lease.
That was a one-year lease.
Yes, correct.
Are these the same people that the code officer was referring to that were occupying the property?
No.
Okay, no? Yeah, give it to the city attorney. All right, keep going.
Sure. So I just I receive a text message from my tenant there, Oleg, and saying that he found some paper on the door saying that they are renting, or I don't know who's renting.
Who's your tenant?
Oleg and Lev. And so they are not doing any whatever short-term rental. They own a business in New York, and it's their family that comes from probably there or Russia.
I don't see any Olegs on the lease. I see someone by the name of Lev Shusterovich.
Yeah.
Who is that?
The tenants.
That's not
He's
Oleg.
a tenant.
Who's Oleg?
They both should be on the lease, Oleg and Lev.
Are they still a tenant?
Yes.
Did you ask him why there was somebody?
I was asked them, why is
there?
this paper on the door? And why did he send it to me? He said, oh, it's for the owner. And he's not doing any short-term rental. He's he's a business owner. And he has friends and family coming from up north and Russia sometimes.
So who were the people that were staying
Not
when
aw-
the notice?
Not
were-
aware. Don't know nothing.
City, you have any response?
I have hard copy of the emails I've had with Ms. Lydia, as well as the same addendum to contract with, there's a lot of scratch from whether it's the tenant or the buyer. Now, as far as the complaints I've received, it came from police department and also tenants that are calling and saying, you know, it's becoming a nuisance as far as the renters. And when I made contact, they also stated they were from Texas. And I also took pictures. I asked them if it was okay for me to take pictures of the car that they had, which I did that day.
Could you show that picture? Ma'am, do you recognize that car?
I don't know, no.
Never seen that car before?
No, it must be that their family renting a car, can be anything.
Okay, all right.
You cannot see nothing
So,
about photo.
did you also speak to people inside the
They were
premises?
Hispanic,
Hispanic,
yes.
not from Texas.
They said they came from down from Texas. They were on a road trip with their family. It was a
Okay.
Hispanic family, husband and wife with kids, renting from June 7th to June 17th. That's what
Okay.
he disclosed to me. And when I asked him for his name or if I could see a copy of when he booked it, because he also stated he booked it from Airbnb. He was like, I don't want to show you and I don't get my deposit back, which I understood. And I was like, okay, no problem. It's been confirmed by the renters that were there at the time that they were conducting short-term
Did
rental.
you check the Airbnb?
Airbnb, it's not showing. And as far as for the link that I received from initial violation, the link does not show where they're advertising. So this violation is actually for the renting, not for the advertisement, because it's not on Airbnb.
Okay.
So moving forward, I would like to get an adjudication and for this to be irreversible.
Right, and the prior one, tell me about that one.
The prior one was also adjudicated for short-term rental. They had renters there as well. Per the permit action, I had details in there for the hard copy that was submitted.
Mhm. Is there any doubt in your mind that the folks that were residing on the premises the day you were there and that you questioned, that they had moved in there as short-term renters with an agreement with either the property owner or the people that are the lessees of the property? Is there any doubt in your mind that they were short-term renting?
No.
Okay. Anything else from the city? Ma'am, and you are the agent for the tenant or for the property owner?
For the property owner.
Okay, and the property owner is in France?
Yes, correct.
And
Doesn't speak English.
the lease that you showed me, is that the only lease that has been drafted during the course of that 1 year period from January to January? Or have there been other leases that have been drafted with other tenants?
Just one lease.
There's only one lease?
You cannot sublease. It's illegal. I mean, by the lease
Right.
agreement, just one lease. The tenant cannot sublease. I mean, it's illegal.
Well, it may be illegal, but I'm going to find that your tenant, your property owner's tenant, has been engaged in short-term renting the house. So, you do what you need to do under the terms
Right.
of the lease. But I'm gonna find in favor of the city that there was a short-term rental in violation of the code. And being that it is a repeat violation and that prior to this violation, there was a citation or a violation and that there was a fine of $15,000, I am going to fine similarly as to this particular violation and assess a fine of $15,000. Is that what the city is requesting?
Correct.
Madam City Attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So that's my ruling.
So what is the owner he has to do on all this? He
Well-
has in place a lease agreement. He's not a police, right? And then he has a lease, enforced lease, right?
Yeah.
Legal lease.
Well,
So
I'm
it has
not
nothing
gonna,
to
I'm
do-
not gonna give you legal advice, but I think the owner should, get a lawyer and find out from the lessee, the tenant, why he or she is engaging in short-term rentals, which is in violation of the city code. So, I think they need to talk to a lawyer.
Right.
And, you know, you're not a lawyer, so
Right.
I think
not
you
a
need
lawyer.
to address that and make sure that this doesn't continue to happen.
Just a question, Your Honor, if I can. In the first code violation, I mean, you're just not asking who's there, is there a tenant, is there, what's going on? You just bring it up to the magistrate, right? So is this the way it works? And you're not, I inform her that I'm the property manager, that I represent the owner, and we have in place, we have a lease. She couldn't give me any proof that the property was listed for short term, or there is a, it's my word against her word. I mean, it's just that way.
Well, it's a question of, you know, the officer presents testimony to the special magistrate based on what she has seen and what she has heard, and based perhaps on what neighbors have complained about, because a lot of neighbors don't like to have seasonal rentals, short-term rentals going on next door, because they create noise and partying and parking issues and debris issues. So the neighbors are probably complaining that there's something going on in that house, which triggers an investigation by code, which then goes out there and finds out what's going on. And it's based on that testimony that the special magistrate is placed in a position to determine whether she's telling the truth or the tenants are telling the truth. And the fact that the tenants are not here to testify weighs heavily in favor of what the city is doing and against the property owner. Because if the tenants had been here to try to convince me that they didn't do anything,
Because you did not, I'm sorry.
or maybe they had a friend or a family member or somebody they knew that stayed there for the weekend, then there could have been a way for the property owner to convince me that maybe it was a legal
Nobody
rental.
called them to come. I mean,
Well,
you just,
you
give the
knew-
citation to my client, so why would they come?
You knew
Right.
you knew that this was gonna come up for a hearing today. If
Right.
if you felt like you wanted to convince me that they didn't know anything about it, that it didn't happen, they should have been here as witnesses. But the fact that they're not here
Right.
leads me to believe that maybe they have something to hide.
I have nothing to prove in their regards, right? I don't know, I'm the property manager, I'm not there just to follow them and just stay next to the property and wait, see what's going on, what the movement is.
Well-
Secondly, why would you not first see what the problem is? You just impose a fine of 15,000
That's
without knowing the facts, nothing. You just come, 15,000. I don't know if there's a tenant, I don't know if I mean, she knew there was a tenant there on a yearly basis, which is legal.
Yeah, there is no
Right.
issue as to the lease that you showed me. The
Right.
lease is legal.
Right.
What is not legal is the fact that on 2 occasions, there were people that were renting on a short-term basis. And because of that, the owner has been fined. So the owner needs to make sure that the tenant is not engaging in short-term rentals.
The owner was fined in the first code, because this is the repeatedly, whatever she said it is. But in the first one, you didn't hear from me nothing.
I wasn't here. That was
Right.
not
Or
my
the
case.
person before.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
So look,
Yeah.
that's my ruling. My ruling stands. If you disagree with my ruling, you can certainly file an appeal before the circuit court, or you can try to mitigate the fines later. When they become a lien on the property, you can mitigate. But that's my ruling. I'm not gonna take it back. So
Right.
let's
Okay.
move on to the next case.
J&L Land Investments, case number CESTR 2019-00006. Aaron Barber is the officer.